A former WSU student was charged with 5 counts of extortion with sexual motivation.
And also how the weather may affect Cougs' spring break travels.
And what 2 Cougs will compete in the NCAA Indoor Championship this weekend. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Brady Frederick.
And I'm Nathan Senf. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
A former WSU student was charged with 5 counts of extortion. An investigation found he allegedly harassed and extorted 29 women in Pullman and the Tri-Cities area. Kyle Gomnitz reportedly used Snapchat, Tinder, and text messages with fake identities to obtain naked photographs of the women, then threatened to disseminate the pictures of the women if they did not do what he asked. Gomnitz is considered a suspect in other investigations. WSU police investigated reports about 12 Air Force ROTC cadets who have experienced similar harassment. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's annual firefighter stair climb takes place in Seattle tomorrow, and a Pullman firefighter plans to defend his title. Ryan Peerboom gives us a look at the local firefighters competing in the event.
Firefighters climb stairs when fighting fires. It's a necessary part of their jobs. But this weekend, Steve Potraz-Lee and other Pullman firefighters are climbing stairs for a different reason. Firefighters plan to compete in the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Stair Climb fundraiser in Seattle, where firefighters from all around race to the top of the Columbia Center wearing their full firefighter gear in order to raise money for cancer research.
From a personal standpoint, I have family members who have been battling cancer, and all the money goes towards cancer research and supports people with cancer. And it's just a really important organization to support.
Potraz-Lee won the event last year and looks to repeat as champion.
Last year my time was 10 minutes and 55 seconds, which was my best time out of the 4 years that I've done it, so I'm hoping to go for another best time this year.
The fundraiser is important for all firefighters because they are more likely to develop leukemia and lymphoma than the average person because of their job.
It hits home a little more. That we're raising for a cancer research for cancer that we very well could contract through the course of our career.
You know, they do a great job in the opening ceremonies on the day of the climb, just bringing it in together as kind of a family for firefighters, knowing that we're a lot more affected. So just the firefighters that know about it and that get involved, it's a very impressive event.
The Pullman firefighters have collectively raised over $2,500 for the fundraiser, but they've also been taking personal donations. Ryan Peerboom, Murrow News 8.
Earlier this week, a Lewiston man has been arrested and booked on 13 counts of distribution of child pornography. According to the Lewiston Police Department, detectives arrested 31-year-old Scott Martin after serving a search warrant in the 600 block of the Southway Avenue. Multiple computers and hard drives were collected from the home and are being processed as evidence.
Sheriffs in Latah County have given the all clear this morning after a suspicious device was found in a Moscow mobile home park. Deputies found a box and a large liquid container connected by wires that they worried could have been an explosive. A bomb squad crew was called to the Syringa mobile home park just outside of town shortly after 1 a.m. They determined there was no threat. The scene has been cleared as of 8 a.m. State legislators in Idaho are considering a bill that would allow law enforcement to make an arrest without a warrant when they believe someone has made an online threat. Representative Bill Gosling of Moscow crafted this one-page bill in response to a case last spring where a Moscow teen threatened to shoot up 2 area schools online. Police cited and released the teen because police were unable to find evidence that the teen actually intended to carry out the threat. Opponents of the bill are concerned the law would be unconstitutional, especially if arresting an individual inside their home without a warrant. The bill passed on the House 47-22 vote earlier this week and will move to Senate for further action. When we come back, how can you bowl to support the Women County Humane Society and Northwest Cancer Foundation of Hope?
And how Washington State may adopt daylight savings all year round when Murrow News 8 returns.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the show. With spring break starting next week, most Cougs are leaving town early. The city of Pullman is encouraging students to travel safely. On the city's Facebook page, they posted information for students. They say that complying with College Hill parking restrictions, setting your thermostat to prevent freezing are both important, but their main request is that students stay safe when returning to Pullman.
Today is International Women's Day, and WSU will celebrate women in science and technology, engineering, and math fields. The Week of Women in STEM is scheduled for March 18th through the 22nd on all WSU campuses. The event will have sessions for females to expand their professional goals in the STEM community.
President Scholes said there is zero chance for a naming rights deal this fiscal year. Two potential sponsors passed up on the naming rights of Martin Stadium, which makes the athletics department miss their target reduction of $1 million. They were still able to take $750,000 off the deficit this year, still an improvement from last year. Washington state lawmakers are considering a proposal to adopt daylight savings time year-round. If Congress does not authorize the revision, legislators are proposing an approval to change the state to a year-round Mountain Standard Time, which would have the same effect.
House lawmakers voted to pass a resolution that denounced racial divisions in the political sphere. The sudden resolution change comes after Democrat House Representative Ilhan Omar made a statement that was deemed anti-Semitic by other House Democrats and targeting certain cultures. Omar states political influence in her statement through a Democrat convention this week.
I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it is okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country.
After the statement, the resolution denounced all types of bigotry and therefore passed a resolution and decision for less white supremacy and stood behind Nancy Pelosi's decision not to describe her as a racist or anti-Semitic person in Congress. The House overwhelmingly passed it, being the 2017 record or survey has anti-defamation lawsuits up through the roof, over 57%, and it's the largest increase in a year's record.
After the break, we take a look at a tough job for keeping roads clear of snow and ice.
And will the sun be on the horizon? Weather is next. Stay with us.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the show. A snowy February caused delays and even one school cancellation here at WSU. Celeste Harms tells us more about the record-setting month and how the university determines when a delay is needed.
With a total of 36 inches of snow, Pullman experienced its second snowiest February on record. The extreme weather conditions led the university to cancel school once and delay classes 3 times during the month.
Pedestrian safety is the most highest priority to us. So if we don't feel that the students can safely make it to class, then the recommendation would be to do something other than normal operations.
A team comprised of representatives from areas including facilities, parking and transportation, and marketing and communications makes the decision whether to delay or cancel class.
We have a group that meets at 4:30 in the morning, and all the different crews will report in and say, what's the status of the parking lots? What's the status of the sidewalks? What's the status of the roadways?
Though the snowy February ended, the cold front did not. The deep freezer that I'm standing in right now hovers at about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. And yet Pullman temperatures dropped even lower than that to -9 degrees Fahrenheit earlier this month, shattering the previous record for coldest March day in Pullman history. Efforts to maintain WSU's campus in the cold come with their own risks.
I've almost been hit by snowplows twice, not joking. I've had to move out of the way in order not to be hit, and I've been hit by snow so hard that I've been knocked over by snowplows.
Staff say they will continue to monitor conditions and adjust as needed. Celeste Harms, Murrow News 8.
Wow, that is just impressive that we had so much snow in the last month. I slipped on my way in today and yesterday and all the freezing rain, and I can't imagine being hit by a snowplow.
Yeah, that is a terrifying thought, obviously uncommon.
Also, we didn't know that we were also colder than a freezer. How about that outside? I don't know if I want to ever experience that again because it's a little bitter. So.
Yeah, well, it definitely was a snowy February, that is for sure. Let's go ahead and send it to Lindsay Jensen at the Weather Wall. Lindsay, what weather can we expect for today and on our way home from spring break?
Hey, Brady. Yeah, Pullman has quite a bit of clouds in the sky today and still remains at freezing temperatures of 30 degrees. And if Cougs are looking to head out for spring break today, roads should be pretty clear with only 20% chance of rain. And as we look into tomorrow's forecast, it is a little higher in temperature-wise and some sun breaks throughout the day. And if you're looking to leave tomorrow morning, the sun should be up and shining at 6 a.m. So for that safety in driving with some daylight. And as we look into the state map here, so the east side of the state still remains pretty cloudy, and on the west side, we're seeing a bit of some snow and some rain with 70% chance of rain in the Seattle local area today. And so it looks like we're not able to escape the freezing weather over break. And as we look at the 5-day forecast here, you can see today, again, expect a cloudy day and with weekend with some sunshine, but snow later in the week. So maybe it might be too cold for the snow to melt over the break before we get back in Pullman. So just make sure you enjoy this spring break, and back to you on the desk.
Thank you, Lindsay. Speaking of clearing the snow, we had a chance to spend a day with one of the local WashDOT snowplow drivers to see what it takes to keep our roads clear.
Plowing the Palouse is a lot harder than it seems, as I found out this week riding along with one of the veterans.
I enjoy the people.
Russ Wagner has been with the Washington State Department of Transportation for 16 years.
I did 10 years working on the equipment and the last 6 running the plow.
So who better to show us what it takes to keep these roads clear? Now, as you pass a snowplow by, it may seem like a simple job. Just push the snow out of the road, right? But really, it's a science.
A layer of carbide, a calcium chloride, hydraulic lift. This truck here, you don't want to follow it too close. Yeah.
Russ and his team are responsible for over 800 miles of pavement in our area. Plowing, blowing, sanding, and de-icing, they do it all. It's 4 a.m. here at the Pullman Maintenance Shed, and Russ's plow is filled with salt and sand. We'll hit the Pullman-Moscow Highway first up to the Idaho border and back, and already we're running low on sand.
We probably put 25 to 30,000 pounds down today in probably an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Back to Pullman for a fill-up, and then we head north towards Oaksdale on State Route 27. Crews communicate the conditions with each other throughout the day, and it sounds like 27 is in rough shape. Russ decides he needs more than a snowplow to clear it, so he calls in the big guns. This 12-foot high blower can eat up snow in seconds and shoot it up to 250 feet away. This machine certainly does its job. It's now 10 a.m. and time for a break in Oaksdale when this driver stops to tell Russ there's a semi stuck in a ditch just outside of town. Russ to the rescue. Through the howling winds, the blower tows it out like a toy. And so it's back to work taming 10-foot high snow berms. It's a team effort with the blower in action. 2 WashDOT snowplows run about a mile ahead. One blocks oncoming traffic and the other pushes the snow into the road. Then Russ can drive down the middle in the blower and shoot the snow in the direction the wind is blowing. It's not perfect, but at least it's a clear lane. Then here's a frustrating sight. In conditions like this, it's important that drivers maintain a safe distance and use extreme caution driving behind the equipment and through drifting snow. We saw 2 vehicles lose control and crash just that morning. It's a testament to their work being so vital and a reminder why sometimes the road simply has to be shut down.
Our goal is to make sure that families and children and grandparents and everybody gets home safe at night. That's our goal. And that's what makes this work.
When winter grips on hard, the only thing standing between us and isolation sometimes is the work these crews put in around the clock. Keeping our roads safe and letting us get to where we need to go. That's Russ's job. For Murrow News 8, I'm Zach Anders.
You know, I never really expected how much work and coordination it takes for them to keep our roads clear.
I know, and just don't get in their way, because they're there to help you, and just be safe when you're out on the roads. That's all I have to say. So.
Well, when we come back, Malou Santos tells us what sport is gaining traction on the Palouse.
And she will also give us an update on the Women's Pac-12 tournament. Stay with us.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Alou Santos with your sports update. A new sport has slid into the Palouse over in Moscow, Idaho. Sean O'Connor spent a day with the local curling club and tried his hand on the ice.
Curling is a sport on the rise. Interest in the sport is up with the recent success of the United States men's teams in the last few Olympic cycles.
You know, the 2006 Olympics got me into it. So, yeah, I always had an interest in it, and I found out that we had a curling league.
The Palouse Curling Club encourages people of all skill levels to come down and curl. From first-time curlers like me to more experienced curlers like Rachel.
When I was in college, we had a university team that competed against other universities, and we actually won the College Collegiate Championship in 2013.
This weekend, the Palouse Curling Club will host the Palouse Indoor Bonspiel. What is a Bonspiel, you might ask?
Basically a curling tournament, and this will be a great opportunity because we'll have an experienced league and we'll have a novice or never curled before league.
The Bonspiel starts with a Learn to Play clinic on Friday, followed by tournament play on Saturday and Sunday. To register for the event, contact the Palouse Curling Club on Facebook.
It's a really friendly sport. You can do it at any age. I curl with senior citizens when I go home for winter break, and I've seen kids as young as 5 years old on the ice, so it's really something you can do pretty much your whole life.
Sean O'Connor, Murrow News 8.
The WSU women's basketball team lost 58-77 at the Pac-12 Conference Tournament last night. The Cougs were led by Chanel Molina, who scored 24 points in the game. Only one other Coug was able to get into double digits. Number 7 seeded California who beat the Cougs will advance to play number 2 seeded Stanford tonight. The Cougars finished the season with 9 wins and 21 losses. The WSU men's basketball team will play their final home game in Beasley Coliseum on Saturday. The Cougs will be saying goodbye to seniors Robert Franks, Viante Daniels, and Devontae Cooper. The Oregon State Beavers will travel to Pullman following a loss to Washington. The Cougs are looking for a win to gain some momentum heading into the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas next week. The WSU tennis team has opened Pac-12 play this morning down in Salt Lake City to face the University of Utah. The team is ranked number 28 after beating Nebraska and Iowa State on the road. WSU then continues their road trip Sunday by heading into Boulder, Colorado to take on the Buffaloes. After 11 consecutive games on the road, Cougar baseball will host their first home series this weekend. The Cougs welcome California State University Northridge to the cold weather of the Palouse for a 3-game series. The Cougs are looking to ride the momentum from their last series where they won 2 of 3 games against Nevada. The first game of the series begins at 1:05 this afternoon at Bailey Burton Field. 2 Cougs have started competing on the national stage at the NCAA Indoor Championship in Birmingham, Alabama. Emmanuel Wells Jr. will compete in the 60-meter dash and Paul Ryan in the mile. Wells is currently 4th in the world with a 6.53 60-meter dash time. Ryan holds a 3-minute and 58-second mile time. The event started at 10 this morning and ends on Saturday. When we come back, how a local nonprofit plans to create a learning garden here in Pullman when Murrow News 8 returns.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts?
The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. A local nonprofit is hoping to create an edible garden in Pullman that will be used as an educational tool about scarce ecosystems. The Phoenix Conservancy wants to create a Palouse Prairie native edible garden along Missouri Flat Creek next to Grand Avenue. Residents will be able to access the garden through planting, social gatherings, and educational harvesting. The project was approved by the Pullman Parks and Recreation Commission on Wednesday.
The 15th annual benefit bowling tournament for the Whitman County Humane Society begins at 1 p.m. on Saturday at Zeppo's. Ron and Heather Morgan created the event to help gather donations for Northwest Cancer Foundations of Hope. Teams will play 6 games and sign-ups begin at noon at Zeppo's on Saturday. Well, can you believe bowling? I love bowling. I love bowling, and I love that Cancer Society gets to be involved and we get to donate. So
yeah,
I think we should all, sign up to make a team, right? We just need 2 more.
And you're gonna not have anything to do because it's spring break. So what are we all gonna do for spring break?
Sleeping.
Yeah.
That's
catching up. Like these bags under my eyes are ridiculous.
I know, that's it's
like they're not even check-in luggage, they're straight up like carry-on and check-in. Carry-on check-in luggage right there.
There you go.
Wow. Yep, I definitely needed some fun stuff to do besides some work. So.
Well, thank you for watching tonight. Be sure to watch our live newscasts on Cable 8 at 7 and 10.
And don't forget, you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and follow us at Murrow News 8 at nwpb.org.
Have an amazing night. Thanks for watching.